my friend Tenty. I plunged myself against the door of our clubhouse. It opened with a loud bang. I started yelling before I even hit the floor, "Tentacle ponies are coming!" Scootaloo and Apple Bloom didn't even turn their heads. They kept lying on the floor, facing each other, with their heads on the idea circle. Only their eyes turned toward me. Scootaloo snorted and looked back to Apple Bloom. "And by following my plan, we will earn our cutie marks for sure. And die as we get them." Apple Bloom rolled her eyes. "Probably just die." I sighed. "You've already heard, every pony's heard of it, Sweetie Belle," Scootaloo said in a monotone voice as she slid her forehoof on the edge of the idea circle. "Celestia ordered the bearers of the elements to spread the news. They've been informing every pony since morning. I'm surprised it took you so long to find out about it." "And it's just one," Apple Bloom said. "There could be more," I persisted, because many creeping around would sound cooler than just one coming for a visit. "An ambassador?" Apple Bloom waved her foreleg at me. "It means one. You can't never know with tentacle ponies." I tried to save what was left of my enthusiastic announcement. "What do you know about them, anyway?" Scootaloo sat on her flank, and leaned her head to the side as she looked at me. "They have tentacles instead of their ponies." I stood up on hind legs, pressed my forelegs on my head and wiggled my forehooves. "Hee hee. That's a good imitation." Scootaloo rolled on her back, giggling. "But don't forget the tail ones." She wrapped her hind legs in her tail and kicked in the air. Apple Bloom smiled as she observed our show. "What about the belly button ones?" "What?" we both asked at the same time. Scootaloo rolled over as I dropped on all fours. We approached Apple Bloom with our eyebrows raised. "Don't you know? There are tentacles inside their belly buttons that they can extend." Apple Bloom touched her belly with a foreleg, then extended it forward. Scootaloo twitched. "Ugh. That's gross." I put out my tongue in disgust. Apple Bloom sat down. "Imagine one coming at you with all those waving around." She leaned back on her plot and waved all four legs at me. "I wouldn't be afraid." I lifted a foreleg at her and turned my head away as if I was ignoring her. She snickered as she leaned forward, putting her snout past my raised leg, right to my ear. "I heard they attacked a pony village." I swallowed and slowly put down my foreleg. "Okay, maybe I'd be scared just a little bit." I bowed my head. "And they didn't even have any provocation for the attack," Scootaloo added. "What's a provocation?" I asked as I looked up to her. "I don't know, but they didn't have any," Scootaloo explained. "I reckon they just used their tentacles instead of it." Apple Bloom looked through the window, toward Canterlot. "The ambassador is supposed to be meeting with Celestia today. They're going to talk about the release of the tentacle ponies that Celestia imprisoned after the attack. We probably won't be seeing the ambassador in Ponyville. And if we do," Scootaloo jumped in, "we're supposed to not engage, but at the same time, not ignore." "How can you even do both?" I asked. "Beats me." Scootaloo shrugged her shoulders. "I'd probably just stare." "Cutie mark crusaders, tentacle pony stores?" Apple Bloom asked as she crouched down. "I can't crusade today." I looked to the floor and slid my hoof against a plank back and forth. "Rarity wants me right back home. She only let me come to tell you about the tentacle pony, in case you didn't know yet. Shaw came here, even though Applejack forbid me from coming to the clubhouse today. She even stood guard at the house, but I sneaked out the back. I just came." Scootaloo lowered her shoulders and stared into the distance. "Guess I've probably figured out by now that it's just pillows under the blanket on my bed. I should head back home, too." Apple Bloom stood up. "Same time tomorrow?" I asked. They both nodded and passed me as they walked through the door. "I have another plan," announced Scootaloo as she turned to Apple Bloom. "Is it dangerous?" Apple Bloom asked, without turning her head. "You can bet your apples on it," Scootaloo said. Apple Bloom sighed and walked down the ramp. I tried closing the door behind us. It was hard, as it was bent a little, and it grated on the floor. I guess wear and tear had struck again. We kept having to change them, as they kept breaking. "See you tomorrow," Scootaloo murmured as she turned back to Apple Bloom. "You're gonna love this plan." "I bet I will." Apple Bloom shook her head. Scootaloo and Apple Bloom walked on, because the shortest way to my home was in the other direction, anyhow. Well, at least they waved me goodbye. "See you tomorrow," I yelled to them and waved. I then realized that nobody was looking at me anymore, so I put down my waving foreleg. Good thing nobody was looking at me to see my embarrassment. I gave up on the broken door. Huffing through my muzzle, I walked to the bottom of the ramp. "They already knew," I whispered, dragging myself toward Ponyville. The news about the Tentacle Pony Ambassador didn't impress them. Again, I was the last one to find out about the new event. Nobody ever bothers to tell me anything interesting that I could then tell others. Most grown UPS talk about boring stuff until I stop listening. After that, they slip in something important, and then they're angry, as if I was the bad one for not paying attention. It's like they're trying to keep things from me and then blame me for not knowing them. I kicked a stone on the path, sending it flying into a bush I was passing. For once, I wish I had something new and interesting to say when we meet up. Hearing the stone rolling from behind me, I stopped in my tracks. As it hit the back of my forehoof, I looked down, recognizing it. It was the same stone I kicked. I spun around, looking back. My body tensed as the thick branches moved. I wasn't alone. "It hurt," said the bush with a burling sound. "I'm so sorry. I didn't know Anthony was there. Are you all right?" "I'm not supposed to be seen." More branches were pulled together, thickening the cover. "Why not?" I approached the hidden stranger. "Who are you? You ponies hate us. You'll try to hurt me," the voice from within the bush exclaimed as the leaves rustled. "I swear, I didn't mean to kick the stone at you. It was an accident." I reached out with a forehoof to spread out the branches. "I'm Sweetie Belle. What's your name?" "Tenty." Something touched the forehoof that I was standing on. Looking down, I saw a tentacle wrapping around it. I gasped. My body froze. "I'm not like you." Another tentacle launched forth from the bush, brushing across my mane. I put down my foreleg to catch my balance. I tried screaming, but I was out of air. My chest didn't want to fill up even though I was breathing really fast. "I'm a tentacle pony." The bush bristled around her. "One of those you ponies want to lock up in dungeons. But I'm not afraid of you." "I'm not." The branches spread apart, revealing the creature. She had many more tentacles than just the ones that were touching me. Some of her tail ones were spreading the branches, but most of them were pressed between her hind legs, along her chest and up to the bottom of her neck. Clenching on those was another set of thinner tentacles, coming from her underside. They must have been the belly button ones. Pressed over the tail tentacles on her tummy, they were stretched up and over the flanks, wrapping together on her croup. "I won't let you take me." The branches of the bush closed behind her as she stepped forward. "Run." My heart pounded. I clenched my teeth and tried retracting the foreleg wrapped in a tentacle, but it was held in place. Feeling more tentacles slip across my mane, I shivered. A warm liquid wetted the coat on my inner thighs. Pressing my hind legs together didn't help. Even though I wasn't a small filly anymore, I just couldn't stop myself from being. She leaned to the side and raised her eyebrows. Her tail and belly button tentacles spread out. "Why are you afraid? Don't you know what's coming to you?" "You're touching me," I slipped between my gasps. "I'm not." "My tentacles are. But they are a part of you." I tried pulling my foreleg again, but there were so many tentacles holding it back by then that it didn't even move. "Well, yeah, but they kind of have a mind of their own." She turned away from me and faced a stone on the ground. "They touch what I look at." The tentacle released my forehoof. It slipped across the ground, wrapping itself around the stone. The grips on me started to loosen. More and more of them were detaching. I loosened up a little and filled my chest with air. "See?" The moment she looked at me, tentacles tightened around my body again. "Why are you touching me?" I cried out. "It would be rude if I weren't." I'm showing you attention. Please stop. I raised my eyebrows as I looked up to her. The tentacle filly sighed and closed her eyes. Tentacles retracted to her mane, but still pointed toward me. She opened her eyes. Happy? I nodded and breathed out in relief. Just so you know, I'm still not ignoring you. But don't ignore them, rushed through my mind, as I remembered the warnings. I'm not ignoring you, either. Her face stayed serious. Aren't you? I gulped my saliva, closed my eyes and touched her neck with a forehoof, then quickly retracted it when I felt the first tentacle touch it. I peeked with one eye and noticed that she was smiling. If I don't count my mom, you're the first pony in days that touched me. I was having to wrap my own tentacles around my body to feel some comfort, but it just isn't the same as some pony giving you attention. And then you came and touched me. It was nothing, really. I waved my hoof at her. It was everything. With my mom gone to the Cliff City, I was starting to feel like I didn't even exist anymore. The swamp was so lonely with nobody there. I've never been that alone in my whole life. That's why I didn't wait at the campout, like my mom told me to. She digged at the ground with the main tentacle. I don't even care if I get punished when she comes back. She slid her tail tentacles between her hind legs. Is your mom an ambassador? I asked. Her lips drew back, revealing sharp teeth. The best of them. She paused, pressing her eyebrows together. At least with other races. She doesn't have long enough tentacles for the home affairs. What do tentacles have to do with it? You see, she had a short tentacle defect since birth. Because of that, she couldn't abuse much in life and rarely got her way by rape. I gasped. You used the R word, the HM. She lifted up her head. It's also a part of my name. Tenty rape. After she tapped herself on the chest with a tentacle, she looked down. Rape Tenty is what others usually call out, but I'm gonna change that. My tentacles are already longer than my mom's and they're still growing. I know because I measure them every day. Did you say that your mom raped a pony? She was the one usually getting raped, as she couldn't defend herself, with her short tentacles and all. Sometimes, though, she managed to talk her way out of it. She didn't even use counter-rape, and still managed to get her way. That's how good she is at talking. It's what got her into the ambassador business. I'm sorry for your mother. I didn't know some pony hurt her. Was your dad there for her when it happened? No. He got a fatal anal infection soon after my mom spawned me. The what? He got hurt bad in his tushy, and didn't get better. He died. That's so horrible. I pressed my head against her neck and gave her a quick hug. I'm sorry. I backed off, before her tentacles managed to wrap around my hooves. It's okay to suffer. He got what was coming to him and didn't run. Why did you tell me to run when we met? Defying the order to run gives victims something to latch onto. A small victory so that their minds don't shatter. Docile ponies are good, broken ponies, on the other tentacle, are useless. That's how the run expression started, but it's basically just the custom now. Kind of like saying hi to some pony. But you wouldn't let me run. Of course not. It would be rude of me if I allowed you to ignore your problems. Running away never solves anything. I'm not sure I understand what you're saying, but I think I better be going. I'm totally not trying to ignore you, but my sister is waiting for me at home and she'll be worried if I don't come soon. I hope your mom is well with Celestia. I heard Celestia is an alicorn. As far as I know, those don't even have any tentacles. I'm sure my mom will get her to see things her way one way or the other. The oppressive army had no right to take away ponies of my tribe. That's not the right way to resolve things. I hope Mom shows that autocrat mare some of her firm diplomacy. Wait, I heard tentacle ponies attacked first. Did not. We never even mingle with dismissive outsiders. We only made an exception because we ran out of oil. My cousin Slick was volunteered to get some from the tentacle-less pony village. After Slick recuperated a little, he tangled toward their colony. Infiltrating the village, he trailed the trader that was selling oil, but his prices were too erect. Slip has always been good with his tentacles, so he managed to negotiate for a fair price. Just as everything was agreed upon, other Earth ponies came and started calling Slip the rapist. Can you imagine? As if he didn't know what he was doing. I'll have you know he isn't dumb. Well, he does stutter a bit, but that's only because of his oral injury. She paused. The hateful ponies, they kicked stones at him. For no reason. Did he raise the traitor? Them HM? After the trade had gone bad, he managed to drag himself back to our swamp. Grown UPS didn't take kindly to seeing him getting bruised on the outside. He was hurt for the hurting's sake and they wanted to do something about it. Compassion is something that all of us tentacle ponies share. It's what makes us more civilized than the rest of you dismissive ponies. We don't just stick it to each other, we also stick up for each other. My mom was misguided and tried to stop the grown UPS from going back to the village, but she was just one. With her short tentacles, she couldn't force her opinion on them. After making her accept their views, they galloped forth and surrounded the tentacle-less pony village. The stone kickers got what was coming to them. It was then agreed upon that they won't attack any of us again in the future. They raped them all. Yes, there were no disagreements anymore, but Celestia's army just budged in for no reason. They took half of the ponies from my village away. I know the Sun Praiser is a tyrant, but she had no right to do that. Actually, I kind of see why she'd do it, but I think it's best if we leave it to grown UPS to work it out. I feel, you don't see things my way. She half closed her eyes. Please don't be mad. It's okay to have different views. HM? She scratched her chin with a tentacle as she looked to the side. You know what, you're right. She smiled at me and took a step forward. We can just work out our differences. I nodded and stretched forward the foreleg to bump it with hers. Friends? Tenty wrapped her tentacles around my forehooves as her smile turned into a grin.